20 scary break-in stories, according to Reddit. Number 20. My uncle had a walk-in basement near the woods, so he was really paranoid about break-ins. One night he heard the window get smashed, so he grabbed his shotgun, loaded, and ran downstairs. He put the shotgun right in their face and blew their fucking head off. It was a deer who'd run through the back sliding doors and was bleeding all over from the broken glass and was probably going to die after destroying the basement anyways, so he did it a favor. He sent it to a friend, and we later ate some of it. Is this the kind of scary we're looking for? Well, I guess it's scary if you're all about deers. Rest in peace, Bambi. Number 19. Neighbors had a noisy party. Somebody called the cops to shut them up. They thought it was my house. One of them broke in at 1:30 a.m. and attacked me and my housemate, threatened to kill us and our families, burn down our house, and that he had a gun. It was illegal to carry in Australia, and he was going to blow my fucking brains out. We wrestled him, de-armed him, and we both pinned him down until the police came and arrested him. All of his whole my 3-year-old daughter was all of this while, he wrote whole, my 3-year-old daughter was asleep in the next room. He got 2 years suspended sentence and no jail time. We both got PTSD and had to leave home that night and not come back. We couch surfed for a month until we found somewhere else to live. 4 years later, and I still turn into a mess when I hear anyone yelling. It sucks. Some of these experiences will follow some people for as long as they live. What a shame when all anyone wants is to be left alone. Well, some of us anyway. Number 18. I was staying in a hotel in northern Kentucky, the Cincinnati area, probably about 15 years ago. I carry a pistol in my truck and I bring it in at night. So I brought it in when I returned to the hotel for the night, woke up to some guy halfway through the window, first floor, and I sat up and drew my weapon from my side table. He made eye contact and noped back out real slow. You check your windows and doors when you're at home. Do the same when you're traveling.
Slap it on some toast.
Thank you for slapping that on some toast.
Ooh, so spooky.
As we continue to number 17. Thank you again for the subscription, Stripes. I used to live alone in a small bungalow in central Phoenix. My house was broken into twice while I was home, and in the afternoon even. Both times, my dog alerted me by her low guttural growl and then some loud, violent barks. I've never heard anything like that out of my dog. She knew the difference between a visitor getting ready to knock and someone working on the door itself. Thank goodness for that fearless little bichon. I once owned a house that had been built in 1950 by a civil engineer who ended up with a debilitating condition which eventually created a situation requiring a wheelchair. And then eventually, he was bedridden. He decided he needed to make sure that he knew when someone was in the house. So he had a system installed which consisted of a bunch of small areas with wires beneath the carpet. There was a toggle switch on the wall near each area, which would switch on every night, and if walked on, a loud buzzer would sound throughout the house. We couldn't figure out what the toggles were for, but we didn't worry about it too much. But when we pulled the carpet up and found the wires, my spouse started doing research and figured it out. Okay. Why do I feel like this was structured bizarrely? Number 16. One morning when I was about 10 or 11 years old, my mom and I were eating breakfast at our kitchen table, which was in direct view of the back door. All of a sudden, two guys show up and try to break open the back door. One of them was probably in his 40s or 50s, and the other guy looked like he was in his 20s or 30s. They looked up and saw that someone was home, and they ran for it. We ran outside to try to get their license plate number, but by then, they were already gone. Ain't that a bucket of flimmy floosh? Son of a bitch. Number 15. Growing up, there was a bad homeless gang. No, that would be crazy. Okay, growing up, there was a bad homeless and gang problem in my neighborhood. So many times my cousin and I had to use baseball bats, knives, and BB guns to scare off homeless people trying to break into people's houses. They would walk around and try to open up cars and house doors, break into windows, and do all kinds of crazy shit. We would tell my little sister and brother to go back inside, and I have caught a few in my backyard a couple of times too. Where the fuck did you live? Says somebody, and this dude says, around the Los Angeles area. Somebody said, that sounds about right. I live in the West LA and have people jump my fence, steal my recyclables, break my windows, and all kinds of weird shit. Thank God I own a big dog who knows the difference between a welcome guest and an intruder. So let me get this straight. Y'all out there living in LA, where it's already too expensive to live. Crazy amount of homeless people. And if an earthquake rolls out, y'all got to worry about ending up underwater. And when that's not going on, you know, there's maybe a drought going on because all the fires are breaking out. What's going on over there? Why are y'all living there? A hello to anybody who may be listening to this on YouTube. I wanted to quickly make you aware of something because... Who is that? Thank you, Batantonia. I wanted to quickly make the YouTubers aware of something. Somebody messaged me on Snapchat the other night and made it clear that they believed that you had to pay to watch me on Twitch. You do not. Watching me on Twitch is free. You can download the app on your phone. You can just go to Twitch TV or twitch.tv/Kyle and watch me for free. The discrepancy, the reason that she thought that was because on YouTube, you subscribe to somebody that you like. But on Twitch, when you subscribe, it charges you. But what it really means for you to do on Twitch is to follow a person. Because follows on Twitch are equivalent to subscriptions on YouTube. Whereas subscriptions on Twitch are equivalent to sponsors on YouTube. So just like you can watch me for free on YouTube and you can be a sponsor if you feel like it, you can watch me for free on Twitch, which is to say by following me on Twitch for free, or you can subscribe on Twitch and then pay for it. But the scary thing was, apparently somebody thought that they had to pay to watch me on Twitch because, you know, you subscribe on YouTube, why shouldn't you do the same thing on Twitch? And then when you do that on Twitch, it charges you. So the horror to me is that maybe other people were under this impression too, because Twitch has to, you know, call the same shit different things. Unbelievable. As we continue, we arrive at number 14. I caught four very stupid teenagers going through my car in my driveway at 2 a.m. What was stupid is I was looking right at them through my massive living room window with the light on. You'd have to be blind to not see me, but I guess they were too preoccupied with my personal property. So I grabbed the old brake action 12 gauge I hung on the wall as a decoration. I didn't even have shells in it, let alone would I have ever shot it. I then ran out my front door and began yelling like a madman in my pajamas, waving this old gun in the air. They dropped everything and ran like hell. I defended my property, but in reality, I should have just called the cops. I was lucky they didn't have a weapon. Punk-ass kids. Maybe one of them deserved a bullet. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just kidding. Am I? Don't steal people's shit. How about that? How about that? Boy. Number 13. My dad did when I was a kid. We lived in the hood, and upstairs in our house was 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. My brother and me and both my siblings were in our bedroom and my parents were in theirs. The alarm starts going off and my dad instantly scooped all of us into his room and pushed his massive bed in front of the door. We had a bunch of guns too, but my dad said it wasn't worth killing them over the minor valuables that we had downstairs. They stole a TV, a microwave, a video camera, and a few minor things. It was maybe like $300 worth of stuff at the time. And my dad said that he wasn't going to shoot them unless they threatened our lives, and they didn't even come upstairs. We got some nice people in these damn stories. Got some really nice people in this, you know what I mean? Because think about this like a video game where you only got one life, you know? So you playing Dark Souls, tier monkey balls here. You got the weapons. You know what I'm talking about? You know your house better than these assholes that broke into it. Maybe they've been casing the outside of this joint, but they don't know the motherfucking layout of this bitch. You know? They in here, they moving around, you know? Get your family, put them inside. Maybe have one of them get on calling the police, getting them out here. And then you leave the room and you just give it a little while. Maybe you can corner camp. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with corner camping in real life, baby. You got one life to protect. So he's coming up the stairs. You already ready. You got him. Plow. You know what I mean? Say they don't come up the stairs. You hear them rifling around. They flipping over things. They looking in the drawers. They trying to find that credit card information. They trying to steal that identity. You know what I mean? You just give them a little bit of time to establish maybe they are occupied with something. And then you just start peeking, right? You're trying to get that shot, okay? Trying to make at least one of those shots count, all right? What are you doing breaking into people's houses, man? This whole list is going to make me upset. So as we roll up to number 12, man, this seems lengthy. Pulitzer Prize winning, award-winning Reddit entry. I moved from an extremely rural eastern Oregon to my first apartment in the ghetto Eugene, Oregon area. It's funny. People are like, there's no ghetto in Eugene. And I'm like, it was on the corner of 7th and Monroe. And they just go, oh. There was this 4 to 6 block radius of absolute fucking bullshit. Fights, puking, needles everywhere, crack whores, kids getting beaten at odd hours, garbage, fucking garbage everywhere. I swear to God, people from nice parts of town would forget to take the trash out to the curb and just drive it to my neighborhood and throw it on the sidewalk. Random tires, random furniture would appear and disappear. A car would stay parked for months in the same location, then suddenly you see it caught fire at some point. The fireman would put the fire out and just leave. Lol. Fucking ghetto as fuck. I was such a fucking hick in the middle of it. So one day this homeless Mexican guy shows up on my doorstep. It was the dead of winter, so it was raining like a motherfucker because fuck you, Eugene, Oregon. Fuck you and your shitty winters so much. I'm hanging out in my boxers, a tank top, long ass white sweat socks, and a fat bowl of weed when dude knocks on my door. No idea who he is. I say, "What's up, dude?" and he's just shivering. He has chinos and a lousy t-shirt. Poor fucker was freezing, teeth chattering, fucking soaked. He says, "Cold, so So cold. Sounds like personal problem, motherfucker. Please, 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 please listen to Kyle right now. Do not let your kind nature, dude, allow you to give up your life by inviting people whom you do not know and therefore cannot know their intent into the comfort and safety of your life, because your guard is already down if you're foolish enough to allow people into a proximity that is too close for you to even watch, my dude. It's not like you even, this person's like in your periphery right now. You can't react fast enough if they would try to do something. You fucked up. You fucked up. Don't let it be you. This is stupid. Well, shit, I'm not an asshole. Be an asshole. And you know what you can be? Sure that you'll survive. Because you're not letting a stranger into your home who could be on drugs, who could be out of his mind because you don't fucking know him. He could kill you for whatever you have because that's what people do. People are brought to points in their life when they are homeless, when they are strung out on drugs, when they are without their fix. They are brought to points where they would do anything for what they believe they need, my dude. Do not be a sucker. Don't be a motherfucking sucker. Because the people with real money and real power, whose names you'll never know, have tricked you into believing that the good thing to do is to extend yourself for people you don't know. Like, what kind of dumb motherfucker you are? You should have said, because I'm a dumb bitch. So let me read that again for you, but read it like that. Well, shit, I guess I am a dumb bitch. My mom sent me with a dozen big giant coats and blankets because she was worried, God bless her heart. So I'm like, hang on, dude. And I go grab a thick ass coat and blanket. I can afford it. You know what they say about not feeding animals? Because they'll expect it. You know what I mean? They'll come back for more. I like to think that if I saw a dude shivering on the side of the street and I was in my car maybe, and I had a coat in the back seat, I would give it to him, my dude. But this cat knows where you live, and he knows you fucking soft now, my dude. What a stupid bitch. So I'm like, here you go, man. And he puts it all on. Thank you. Then he keeps standing there. He starts looking inside. And I say, okay, you gotta go now, dude. And he says, no. And I say, excuse me? And he says, no. He starts pushing his way inside. Oh, you motherfucker. I grabbed this T-ball wooden bat that I kept behind the door, and I called it my hippie be good stick. And I snapped. My inability to get a job, the loneliness of no one in Eugene befriending me, the bills piling up, the miserable fucking rain. Okay, this is all an excuse for you beating a man that you were stupid enough to give something, so now he want more. You gave him that inch, so now he want a mile. I yell, get the fuck out of my house, and hoist the bat over my head. He runs. I run after him. I don't know why. So there I am mid-afternoon on a shitty Sunday afternoon. What did you just say? Mid-afternoon, afternoon, on a shitty Sunday afternoon? This is exactly the type of motherfucker I expect to be writing a story like this. Running down 7th Avenue in Eugene in my undies and a tank top and my long ass sweat socks sliding down and flapping in the puddles. Flapping in the puddles. Waving a bat over my head, chasing a homeless Mexican guy shouting, fuck you, man. Fuck you. I gave you a coat. People driving by, pursing their lips like, ugh, this part of town is always so distasteful. I realized I must look pretty stupid. So I walked back to my apartment, my socks flopping on the sidewalk in long, awkward slaps. I round the corner and the crackhead upstairs is smoking a cigarette. She says, "The hell you doing, white boy?" and starts cackling at me. telling all her crackhead friends, hey, come look at the crazy white boy. When you're comic relief for crackheads, you have been making really bad life choices. I moved the fuck out a couple of months later. Some decent neighborhood by the college where trust fund brats played hockey, hacky sack, and shared STDs with each other. Well, what an abrupt end to a ridiculous story. But everything that I said during it, it's not me being harsh. You need to wake up and recognize the world you're living in. Because if you allow somebody the opportunity to take advantage of you, they'll take 1,000 times more than you could ever anticipate, you idiot. Don't be so stupid. Make sure the people that you're wasting your time on deserve to have that time spent on them. Because there's a difference between time wasted and time spent. And the hoes y'all talking to, the dumb bitches who really don't know what the fuck they want, the people that are only paying you attention because the people that they'd rather pay attention are busy or asleep. You know what I mean? Wake the fuck up. You don't need friends. You don't need this companionship. And if you do, and when you do, you should want it from the people that deserve it. Not just anybody. Not just anybody. So I know it may be a long time, but don't just let it be that you jump in at anybody, because it'll have you end up fucked over. Wait for the right person. How about that? Number 11. I was 12 years old, hanging out with my dad watching a movie at around 1 a.m. All of a sudden there's a pounding on the door. My dad gets up and twists the knob, and as soon as he does, the door flies open and a mountain of a man throws the door open. And he says, "Harry, you're a wizard." I'm sorry. My dad is pretty big himself, but gets knocked to the floor. He happens to grab the guy's shirt on the way down and they start wrestling. Fist fighting in the entrance of our doorway. I'm standing at the top of the steps looking down and watching all of this in slow motion. My dad starts screaming to get a shotgun out of the closet. I run upstairs, grab the shotgun, run back to the top of the steps, and pump around into the chamber. Immediately after hearing the sound, the guy tries to run away, but my dad holds him to the ground. At this time, my neighbors had heard the yelling and the scuffle, and they run over and they call the police with my dad holding this guy against the ground, and me, a 12-year-old kid, aiming a shotgun at the back of this dude's head. The police end up coming with their guns drawn, and I put the shotgun on the sidewalk, and the guy ends up getting arrested and supposedly had just gotten out of jail for a strong arm robbery and battery. He went back at it again. I can't even imagine what would have happened if I had been alone, considering my dad has worked third shift my entire life, but just so happened to have this be one of his nights off. My dad was literally a superhero for me that day, and for all the days after. Forgive me, I need to devote a very quick moment to the chat. You'll be able to read it if you're watching this video right now. If you're watching this video after the fact on YouTube and you've seen what I've just written, I'd like you to give me your opinion or thoughts on the matter that I've just proposed. As we continue up this list, we arrive at number 10 on the list of 20 scary break-in stories. When I was about 16 or so, my dad, my brother, and I were on the way home from church and saw that a truck that we didn't recognize was parked in front of our house. We had a long driveway, so by the time we pulled up and parked, my dad had told my brother and I to stay in the car as he figured out whoever it was and what they wanted. When we got close enough, we noticed that the guy, a big dude in his 40s, easily 6'6", with a giant beer belly, was hunched over by the front door. My dad is a teacher in a tiny town, so it wasn't a surprise that he recognized the guy. He called out, "Jared, is that you?" Jared turned, didn't acknowledge my dad at all, and hustled back to the passenger side of the mysterious truck, grasping his 10-gallon hat to his head the whole time. He threw himself in head first, his legs still dangling out the passenger door, yelled for the driver to go, and they peeled out, and we left staring after them, wildly confused. We noticed later that he'd been trying to unlock the door with a screwdriver, but only succeeded in scraping up the door frame because we caught him. The best part? The door was unlocked the entire time. Oh God. It would appear that apparently no one has any thoughts with what I have outlined on the side here. I gotta take a break from doing this. Number 9. This was in college, in a 3-bedroom apartment. One of my roommates lived there with his girlfriend. The girlfriend started cheating on him with a guy that she met at work. All 3 of them worked at the same place, but my roommate's girlfriend and the other guy worked in a different building. The other guy got really drunk one night and wanted to come into the apartment to fight my roommate and take his girlfriend away with him. We tossed him out, locked the door. He started screaming and beating on the door over and over again, and we told him to leave or we'd call the cops. He left for maybe 2 minutes before he was back, pounding on the door again. I confronted him several times through the door, about leaving, but he was just getting more and more violent. Eventually, he stopped banging on the door for a few moments before slamming into the door and breaking it open. My 2 roommates and I immediately started beating the shit out of this guy, to the point where he couldn't stand up anymore. We tossed him into the hallway, closed the door, and called the cops. The cops took him away. We filed a police report for the damages and figured that that was the end of it. It was certainly the end of the roommate's relationship. His ex moved out a couple of days later. Turns out she went straight to that other guy, and they both left the state, and he skipped the court date. Those 2 moved to an adjacent state and are still living together. Number 8. A couple of years ago, I lived in a duplex on a busy road, pretty much right on the divide between State University territory and not so great part of town. We got a decent amount of foot traffic in this part because of the university. My duplex was on the corner, facing the side street. I was in the half further away from a busy road, and my front door was inside the fenced backyard. I lived alone with my dogs and cats, and on the other side of the duplex I only ever met Jake and his brother, but I think their parents lived there as well. Anyway, one day I get home from work, usual time, 4:30 p.m. or so, and as soon as I get in the door, there's a knock. I look outside the peephole and it's Jake, so I'm feeling apprehensive because we've spoken like twice ever, and I can't imagine what he's about to say to me. When I open the door, he looks apprehensive too. He asks me if I've looked in my kitchen closet, and I say no, because all that's in there is water, a water heater, and a shelf that I keep my holiday decorations on. But I do go and open it, and there's a big fucking hole in the wall of the closet. Drywall and stuff all over the floor, and I can see Jake's family living room through it. What? I took this picture for the landlord. So Jake tells me right before I got home, they got home as well and surprised a burglar who had broken in on their side. The burglar freaked out, grabbed a knife, and then proceeded to try to smash their living room wall to escape through the apartment. But as soon as my dog heard the commotion, she started barking like crazy, and she sounded so scary, he couldn't see her because of the closet door being shut, that he changed his mind and ran past the neighbors and out their door. He didn't even have time to steal anything. I basically just missed all of this too. I was so proud of my girl. Another time shortly after that, I came home again at around 4:30 p.m. and surprised someone who was inside the backyard trying to break the window to get inside. My half of the house didn't have any windows in the backyard, so if he had succeeded, he would have ended up in Jake's bedroom. The guy ran out of the gate right past me carrying a backpack and took off down the road. Hold on. I just heard a deviation in volume and I want to see if it's on the actual MP3 track. Give me a second. Is coming. It is. It's on the track like it dips. I don't know why it bothers me, but it really does. Forgive me. I have always wondered if it was the same guy, but it seems like it wasn't. And here is a picture of his dog. How sweet. Yeah, you all have nothing to worry about. I'm not moving the chat. It's just a thought that I was sharing. And I guess all of you are on the same page still about wanting it to stay where it is. Number 7. I was 14 and home alone, and we were living in a crappy part of nowhere in Knoxville, Tennessee at the time. Someone drove up and knocked on our sliding glass door. I was nervous, but I stayed silent. Then they tried to force the door open, but it was held shut with a pole, so they gave up and drove away. I figured that was the end of it. Shortly thereafter, though, they came back. I heard the sound of someone pressing against the exterior wall, and it was them cutting the phone lines to our security system and the alarm system. But by then, I was on the phone calling 911 and telling them what was happening. Heavy thudding starting to come from the front door as someone bashed it in, breaking the deadbolt, and I was terrified and pleaded with 911 to please get someone here right away. Whoever it was must have heard me talking on the phone because they immediately left. Although the front door was broken and wide open, it took the cops another 20 minutes to arrive. The person who broke in must have cut himself doing it because our porch had droplets of blood on it. My dad screamed at me for not getting a license plate number while I cried. The people who broke in were never caught, and I've never felt safe anywhere since. I have nightmares for a long time. I want to say thank you to all the people who correctly pointed out that my father's an asshole. I won't lie to y'all, man. I won't lie to y'all. I won't lie to y'all. And it may be the saddest thing that I'll ever admit on a Kyle stream. But once a break-in occurred with me, right? And all I could think about was how pissed mom was going to be at me. And that is not a shot at her parenting or the type of person that she is. But it just goes to show you, you know? And you guys should hope that if you have kids...
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Damn, thank you, Jesus. I really appreciate that. I didn't even see you in the chat, but I really appreciate your contribution, my man. Jesus. I didn't even mean it in that way, but you hear me. Yeah. I'm just saying, I guess if we had to try to be anything as parents, it's not the type of people that would strike so much fear into our children, and it would drive them insane with anxiety to the point where when something genuinely terrifying and unfortunate happens that is not their fault, that they would be dreading the idea of speaking to you because they expect you to react the way that you would typically react, you know? Person comes up to you and just like fucking flinches at you 10 times, and then they come up to you again and they don't flinch, but you still, you know. Bruh. Jesus says, let's get them special emojis, Kyle. Special emojis. Is there something that I can do? Oh shit, there's something called loyalty badges. I never knew these were a thing. No, I remember trying to do this a while back and they never worked. I'll try it again later. Fail to save settings, try again. Before submitting your badge, make sure it adheres to Twitch's subscriber badge and emoticon rules. It's just a heart, my dude. Fail to save settings. Well, we'll give it a try soon. Oh, Stripe says he wants to get you partnered. Don't I need like 100 people watching these streams to get partnered? I can't even get people to come from YouTube to come here. Because they just hate Twitch, or they don't understand it, or who knows what reason. But I appreciate you guys, and I'll continue. This story saddens me though, you know? Kid getting yelled at because they didn't get the license plate of robbers, like, you know, like they should have just been hopping outside the house. Dude had what it took to break down a fucking door, but you supposed to jump out and get that license plate. Oh boy. Number 6. I was 16 and my parents were away for the weekend, so I was home alone. A guy charged in through the screen door from our deck when I was laying on the couch watching TV. He just rushed straight at me. I leaped off the couch and just did the first thing that came to mind, a full force headbutt. I shattered his nose and felt like got a few more bones in there as well. He fell on his ass onto the floor and I did the same. Headbutts hurt. My dog, being the absolute unit he was, came hurtling into the living room and shoulder checked the dude into the glass on the TV. The cabinet entertainment center thing? Okay. Didn't even bother biting, just ran into the guy. The dude struggles up and sprints back out, and I called the cops and they never found out who he was or what his plan was. And that's pretty scary. God damn. It's true. It's true. My man, he's just following what I asked. And another thing is, there are these things called loyalty badges that I'd love to set up, but it looks like they won't work. That's pretty gay. I try to do everything, but it just doesn't work out. Oh no. Forgive me. Oh no. I deleted the kitty. Shit. Okay. Oh no. Whatever. It's fine. Let's continue. This is Bandis. Number 5. My mother heard someone walking about upstairs, and immediately she took me and my brother out and put us in the car. I was like 3, if that. Then she goes back in, and upstairs she finds the neighbor filling her pockets and generally browsing through her stuff like you would do at a mall. My mother just beats the shit out of her so badly that the junkie went to the police herself out of fear. No damage, no broken windows or doors, and nothing taken, obviously. Just a lesson learned. Don't break into the home of an angry mother. Yeah, that's her kids you fucking with, lady. That's her kids you're fucking with, lady. Nah, man. I don't want to, I hate the tier system I hate everything on Twitch. I genuinely do. Twitch is structured for people who have a large following, man. And that is not me, especially not for what I do. Twitch is just about something different than what I'm doing here. And we've been waiting for a new platform than YouTube for years, but at the moment, YouTube is pretty better suited to what I'm doing here. But nah, man, they gonna strike the hell out of my ass until the day that I die, and I'm never gonna change for YouTube because this is who I am, my dude. Every other channel on YouTube, you're probably getting a version of that dude that is not who they really are. But I'm the reason that I get struck on YouTube, and that's gonna be the way that it stays. Oh well. So we'll be back on it in December. Nice and far away. Number 4. 4 years ago, I got into an argument at a party that escalated into a minor fight. The other guy was an old friend who had recently moved back to town after living elsewhere for a decade. After the scuffle, we made up, he hung out for another hour or so, and I walked him most of the way to his house. Mine was only 3 blocks away from his. Woke up in a dead panic a couple of hours later to the sound of glass breaking. Someone was battering my garage door trying to get through and not being quiet about it. I called 911, explained my situation, and posted up next to my living room door with a baseball bat. I left the phone on the ground, still on the line with emergency. The intruder made it through the last door and I attacked him with the bat. Connected about 5 or 6 solid hits to the head and on the ribs before the intruder collapsed. Turned on the light and I recognized the person. It's the wife of the guy that I had fought with this evening. She had a weapon in her car too. The police came, ambulance took her away, and everyone left after a few hours. It was awful. She admitted to trying to attack me in my sleep to the police. I declined to press charges after speaking with her husband? Nah, nigga. You know why that's a scary situation, my dude? Because the dumb hoe did this shit of her own accord. You beat the living shit out of her, but she's still alive. And the man is free to come back at you. Why do people keep such crazy fucking company? Oh man, I declined to press charges after speaking to the husband so long as she got adequate psychological help. Maybe not everybody's fucking crazy, and some people need to pay the price for the shit that they did. You know what I mean? Rehab is not for everybody. Oh, well, she was clearly unstable. Somebody subscribing on YouTube? What a world. Somebody simply named Sarah? It is I, Sarah. She spent 2 months in the ICU but ultimately pulled through. She's been nothing but a nightmare to everyone I know since. You should have pressed charges. I didn't press charges because I was really hungover and confused. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Is somebody breaking your house and they got a weapon in their car and you're not gonna press charges, nigga? How is there a lesson to be learned in that? No, let them try again. What? A female broke into your place. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my God. Number 3. When I was 17, I had a black powder rifle. I was cleaning it in the basement, put it together, and took it upstairs for storage. While I was upstairs, I heard someone come in through the basement garage door. I thought it was my brother or mom coming home, but when I opened the door to the basement, I saw some random guy climbing up the steps. I asked him what he wanted, and he asked if I was home alone. I grabbed my rifle, empty, and pointed it at him, telling him that he needs to leave the way he came in. When he got back to the bottom of the stairs, he unlocked the door that he came in through. It didn't register to me until later that he had locked the door behind him when he entered the house. Some creepy ass shit. My God. Number 2. I've written about this before, but it may have been under a different username. September 1998. I'm a 22-year-old mom. I stay at home with the computer in the front room while my kid napped in the adjoining room. Front door swings open. Hispanic guy. Maybe around 5'6" and 180 pounds, comes in. Wasn't initially alarmed as he was a Hispanic, or we had a Hispanic family move in a few doors down the street, and I figured that maybe he had the wrong place. I tell him calmly that he is looking for another house. He gives no inclination of understanding. I more forcefully tell him, and again I get nothing. At this point I'm getting alarmed. I am tiny, and the room is a simple office, not a lot of weapons. The third time I yell for him to get out, my biggest fear is waking the kid who hasn't been sleeping long. For some reason, I look at the kid's closed door when I yelled, and the intruder followed my gaze. Then, he took a step towards my kid's room. In that moment, I knew I would die before I would let him through that door, and I quickly surveyed my surroundings, reminding myself that I had scissors and my pencil cup on the desk. I buried those scissors so far into his abdomen, I cut my own hand on the handle. Then I jerked them towards me as hard as I can. Blood went everywhere. His eyes got huge, then he ran back out the door. The police followed the blood trail for several blocks, but assumed that he was picked up when the trail stopped. They sent an officer to every hospital in the area, but he never went for treatment. I had to have HIV tests for 2 years after our blood mingled. No idea what happened to him, but he lost a lot of blood. To this day, I lock my door even if I am just going to the car. My kid still rolls his eyes when I tell him I would hurt someone intending to do him harm. I wonder if he knows the story. What the fuck? Which one works then? Well, the Dobson one works. Okay. So this one works. Does the one below below, like, you know, in the picture, does that work? You're listening to yourself, can you not? No. Oh God. I'm so done. I'm so over this shit. As we continue and complete this list, we arrive at number 1. There was a guy hanging around my apartment complex for at least 5 hours, claiming to have been waiting for someone. At night, my husband went out to walk our dog and I was in the bathroom. He realized he didn't lock the door and remembered that guy. Turned back after only a minute and found the guy in the process of opening our door. My husband is 6'4" and my dog is a 65-pound bull terrier. My husband started yelling, but what I saw scares the shit out of him. And the most was the guy trying to take him down. Never saw that guy again. Well, there's that list. Sorry it wasn't as crazy as it could have been. I'm really not seeing a lot of interesting shit on Reddit these days. And it means I'm gonna have to
I gotta wait for fucking Gandhi to show up. When he pops in, I can just go, oh, that was perfect timing!
That was awesome.
Oh my god. Melania says she's the most picked on person in the world. He deserves what he got. Fucking blow me, Chris freaking groped in the store. That's not something you should click. Guys, I love you to death, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Please use Lisa.
There's Lisa. I appreciate you all. I hope you have a wonderful night. To those watching on YouTube, I hope you guys are kicking it, and I hope you understand that Twitch is free. So if you don't want to download the app, you don't want to roll over via your web browser and just check it out. Boy, I lost my train of thought. Fuck me. So, thank you to my sponsors. Thank you to my patrons. Special thanks to Stripes and, of course, Jesus for their donations tonight. Is Linda saying that she has a blood clot in her lung? Jesus Christ, I hope she's on blood thinners and that gets sorted out very quickly. It's a very good thing that it was noticed now when something can be done about it, because it's terrifying and awful when you don't know before shit goes wrong. I hope that you receive what you need to get through it quickly, and that you'll be alright. And I hope that everybody listening feels good and will be good. I'm not feeling so good, so there's that. Oh, Linda says that it was a while back, so she's alright now. You guys take it easy. I'll see you soon. And that's tonight's list. Bye.